I am learning about and starting to learn about Teslas. You are a fanboy and very up to date on Tesla stuff.
Fanboy, definitely. I mean, I tried to keep up to date on it. There's just a lot to know about them. And nobody could know everything.
No, that's true. So this is June 2022 right now. This podcast is being made, and gas prices are high right now, like $4.25.
It was $4.39 yesterday at the gas station I go to. This morning I lucked out; it dropped down. It was $4.29 when I filled up. Not filled up. When I squeezed out some money out of the ashtray and put it into the tank this morning.
It's tough, dude. It's tough, and so like I know that. So this is weird to say. That are they trying to push people to go to EV vehicles with this gas thing? I mean, what is going on? Why is it so high?
So if you go down that rabbit hole, you nudge onto some conspiracy theories that are out there.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that as it pertains to Tesla, that specific brand of EV, no, I don't think that's the case.
They've been doing it when gas was $1.
Yeah, they've done it the whole time. I mean, they started way back. You know, they were conceptualizing things in 2003. They actually launched in 2008, 2007. And but no, I don't think for the brand Tesla. And that's evidenced by the fact that the Biden administration actually doesn't even acknowledge the existence of Tesla. Joe Biden did not invite Tesla to his...
What? Really?
The White House summit on electric vehicles included all these companies that are not making electric vehicles and the companies that are just barely starting to make electric vehicles.
But didn't invite
didn't invite Tesla and did not say Tesla the entire EV summit. He said that he referred to GM as the leader in electric vehicles worldwide. They're going to lead the way to electric vehicles.
Okay, now we're dipping into politics and reasons why. I started that rabbit hole. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I said you're nudging the conspiracy theories when you start going down that rabbit hole. It gets.
Well, didn't Pelosi invest a bunch in Tesla,
so
public record wise?
Well, so the public record is that between Pelosi and her husband, their investment behavior has always been suspect. But again, this isn't about politics. Joe Biden gave a speech to the American Auto Workers Union where he openly said that back when I was being elected to the Senate. That the American Auto Workers Union, his quote was, "The AAU elected me." Tesla is not a union shop. Tesla does not do unions. They don't need them because they pay their workers well, and they give their workers stock. All of them get stock options, and so their workers.
There was a headline. I hate to interrupt you. There's a headline on that point. Tesla says
he loves to interrupt me.
No, not that, but. You're on that point, and I read an article, the headline, I didn't read the article, I read the headline. Elon threatens workers to come back or else. So what is that about?
So he put out an email to his administrators saying that there's no remote work anymore. He said, come into work.
Gotcha.
And so the email was directed to the high-level administrators. And he was saying that the higher-level administrator you are, the more visible you need to be because leadership is from the top down. If you want to get the best out of your workers, then you need to be present and show that you are working beside them. He even said in the email, that's why I lived in the factory, which is a verified, known fact. Back when they were doing the Model 3 manufacturing ramp, he was in the factory. I mean, Elon's out there turning wrenches, and he slept in the factory. You could see there's Elon asleep on the factory floor. He'll be awake. They said wake him up in half an hour. He's getting back to work. Meanwhile, the people below him, but above the other workers, are working from home remotely, sometimes in different states. They'll go to a different state. He specifically referenced people who were responsible for human resources in Fremont, California, but they're working remotely from a different state. How do you work human resources in Fremont, California from a different state?
Because you think about this. If you don't want to work, there's hundreds and thousands of people that would love to go get a job at Tesla right now.
So say the headline again. Say what you said.
Elon Musk threatens workers to come back to work or else.
So that sounds like Elon, the rich billionaire, is telling his peasant peon minions, your workers, come back to work or else. That's not what the email said. The email's public record. It's out there. It leaked. You can get the email and read it.
It doesn't matter. Everybody hates him.
It's true. But what he was saying in the email, the point that he made in his email was, your factory workers can't work remotely. They can't turn wrenches from home. They have to come in.
That's true.
So the people that you're in charge of are coming into work every day. Meanwhile, you're at the house in another state. That's bullshit. Come to work or work somewhere else.
Well, I mean, he's right. He has a different way of doing work. Like, I love the quote about if the meeting isn't useful to you,
Get up and leave.
yeah, and if you don't get up and leave, it's rude of you.
Yeah. He said it would be rude to stay in a meeting
That's
that
what he
you're
said.
not adding value to. If
So
you're
that's
not
a
getting
totally different
value or giving value to the meeting, get up and leave. You're required to. You have to. This is a waste of your time.
So think about this. Right, I don't want to go off on a tangent. We'll go back to gas prices. But real quick, do you remember back in the day, work was work. And then there was articles and video about Google employees playing basketball and sitting around in like a lounge. And that's how they work because they got creativity. And you're like, wow, that's a great work environment. And it seems like to me that Elon Musk has even elevated that more with his philosophy about work and all that stuff, about, streamline. Like one of the biggest things I remember about Elon Musk they're talking about is like they're working on a rocket and there's a piece they need. And they're like, hey, we need this part right here, right?
Yep.
And he's like, well, I hired you because I trust you. We need it. Yes, we need it. Well, get in my plane and go where you need to go to get it.
Yep.
Instead of, all right, well, let's schedule a meeting, have all staff there. Let's cater that meeting. Let's have a meeting about this part.
Yes.
And it's just like, I think he does that with Tesla as well, don't he? He just
He definitely does it with Tesla. Another email. So this is an email that came out 5 years ago. It leaked 5 years ago where he sent out an email that said, he said there's two different schools of thought on communicating. Most businesses use the chain of command. Most large corporations use chain of command. You talk to your boss, who talks to his boss, who talks to the finally gets to the vice president, who then goes across to the other division, talks to that vice president, and then it trickles back down. And then a month later, you might get an answer to your question. No, that'll get you fired at Tesla. If you work on the factory floor, turning wrenches, and you need to know something from vice president of whatever, you walk over to vice president of whatever, and you ask him. And if he gives you any static about it, he's out on his ass. You get your answer from where you need. Whatever the quickest way to get your answer and get a problem solved is, that's what you go and you do. You don't have to talk to anybody. There's no chain of command that you have to follow. He said, if you need me, you call me. His famous quote is, I don't care if it's 3 a.m. on a Sunday morning, I'm available to solve issues.
Yeah, I mean, because like we said,
The story you're talking about was with
Yeah.
SpaceX when he was designing
SpaceX,
the
that's it.
So there was an issue with, and I don't remember the exact the part that was the issue, but they had isolated an issue that was going to delay a launch, and they needed this launch to happen because launch windows, I mean, between the FAA and the other regulations, their launch windows are small, and if you miss it, you talk about millions of dollars in lost manpower.
So this piece was in Japan, and they're like, "We'll ship it," and he's like, "Just get," or I think Japan. Just get my jet and go get it, bring it back.
So he pointed at the engineer who isolated the issue. He's like, you know what you need? That's my plane. Get on it and go get it. And so somebody broke down the math of the fuel that was burnt and the time that it took and the man hours to get the part back there. They did the math and they figured it out. Now, there are engineers working at SpaceX and working at Tesla that used to work at other companies, Ford and NASA and the like. And they made the comment that NASA or one of these other large car companies, they would have spent more on the catering for the meeting to discuss the issue before finding out how to get the part, and it would have been months and months of delay. SpaceX took care of it in a few hours because Elon said, get on my jet, go get the part, bring it back, install it.
Yeah, that I hope that culture's catching on with work, but it's weird to give away the reins.
You've already said that it's not catching on. Because the headline that you read had a very negative spin on it.
Oh, yeah, because I read that.
Workers come back to work or else. His email was to the administrators. The higher your level is, the more visible you need to be seen. Your factory workers do not get to work from home. They cannot. They can't turn wrenches from the house. They have to come into work. Why aren't you at work? Point blank and period. Come back to work or you're fired.
Yeah, so it goes back to the whole thing of like, he's kind of a pariah. He's kind of a bad guy in people's eyes because he has FU money and he does what he wants. And he seems to be doing the right thing to the people. He's a people's billionaire. Sorry. Because I'm used to thinking millionaires are awesome, but millionaires ain't nothing nowadays. Billionaires.
You say that, but you know what? Somebody walks in here and wants to make me a millionaire.
Oh, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it.
I'll think that's awesome just fine.
Just think who the first trillionaire will be. There probably is a trillionaire right now. He's probably some Saudi or something.
Some oil sheik.
But he
somewhere.
doesn't brag about it. He's not on the social media talking about money. But as far as the Western world, billionaire.
Yep.
It's crazy. So gas prices. Okay, back to it. Boomerang. Gas prices. So it seems the most ideal way, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, most ideal way right now to solve my gas issues, and I have a hybrid, so I'm grateful for that. I bought a hybrid right before all this crap popped off because
I've been jealous.
I'm dipping my toe in the whole EV vehicle thing because
Uh-huh.
I'm just it's what I've always known. What everybody's known. Other than like steam engines, gasoline engines. I don't know about that.
The horseless carriage. I need the horse to know what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm drunk, the horse will take me home.
Still a law that's on the books today.
I know.
You can drive a horse drunk. You're just fine to
Can
do
a
it.
lawnmower like George Jones used to. He got DWI so much he started just driving lawnmowers around.
Yep.
They had to put a bill for that.
Can't do that anymore.
Can't do that no more. So the ideal, perfect solution for me would be to grab a Tesla because I think they're the most, not the most, but they are the top tier when it comes to EV vehicles as far as compatibility, the culture of the Tesla company, and the improvements they do.
Well, they've got a whole infrastructure in place now that other companies simply do not have. I mean, between the supercharger network and a lot of times there's criticism about, there's not enough service centers, but they've got exponentially more service centers for their EV vehicles than other companies do. Because you talk about a company like Ford or GM or even Audi. Audi's got the e-tron, which by all accounts is a very good electric vehicle. But to service that vehicle, you don't have, there's Audi everywhere, but you don't have people who know how to service the Audi e-tron at all of those service centers because the e-tron is but one vehicle in a massive Audi lineup.
That makes sense.
But Tesla, their EV vehicles is all they do. Their EV motors is all they do. And so no matter what service center you go into, you're getting guys and girls who know how to service Teslas, period.
Makes sense. So the ideal situation would then to get a Tesla, plug it in, and you did the math a little bit in this area at least. It costs like.
Yeah, I mean,
you wrote it down.
I wasn't ready because I didn't know you were going to bring it up.
Well, no, I'm just saying because I could plug it in my house, and then I don't have to pay a gas bill no more, right?
Yeah. So yes, you will not pay gas. A lot of people, that is actually a misconception. A lot of people think that electric vehicles need to be gassed up because the Prius was one of the first really popular hybrids, and even plug-in hybrids still need gasoline. So a lot of plug-in hybrids will run on the motor alone for maybe 30 or 40 miles of range, which is phenomenal for a commuter. They commute to work, they come back on EV, they can plug it in. But if they stomp on it, if they need fast acceleration for some reason or another, it comes off of motor and goes into the gasoline engine. If you're going to merge onto the highway or something like that.
I was thinking, yeah.
And so plug-in hybrids are what people are used to. They're like, oh, well, EVs, I still have to gas it up anyway.
Well, with my hybrid, my Toyota hybrid, gas it up. I don't have to plug it in, though. It's got batteries in the engine compartment, charge, all that. But, I mean, it saved my butt recently.
These days, especially when it did get to, $439. That's, whereas in California, that's nothing. In California, they do all kinds of things to get $439 back. But that's a lot. It's very steep around here.
I got small business friends who I put $100 in my tank and it doesn't even fill it up right now.
Yeah.
And they just drive around and do service.
Yep.
And it's like, we got to go up on our prices, man, to be able to afford to get to our damn jobs.
It's astounding.
Yeah. So then the next step would be to plug it in my house. Would be awesome, right? And it goes, and then Duke Energy in my local area, it charges.
I see where you're going. Keep going. I'm catching on. I'm liking this.
What's the next thing? How can I save even more money? Solar. Hook up to solar. Have a big battery, Tesla battery pack, or what do you call them?
Powerwall.
Powerwall. Thank you.
Yep.
I knew you knew it. And then next thing I know, it's like doesn't cost me anything to drive my vehicle around, right?
So when you said to save more money, I don't think that would be a fair statement.
Well, because you got to spend it for the solar.
Initially, you have to pay for the solar, yes. Now, if you were going to do that today, I actually went and I got quotes on solar. And so that solar system costs in the neighborhood of $25,000, $26,000 for the house that I'm at, for the location I'm at, for the direct sunlight that my house gets. But the payments on it, are almost equal to my current power bill. So you're not saving money, but you're redirecting money.
Oh, okay. And you're still on the grid. So if you went solar, you're still on the grid when need be, cloudy days or at night, right? How's that work?
The answer to that question is no, not really. You are still on the
Ah,
grid. You must be. Like legally, you have to still be on the grid. But what you're
why?
doing
Weird.
throughout the day is you're selling electricity to the power company, not the other way around. During peak times of the day, and I don't want to name specific power companies, our power company,
Yeah,
during peak times
local
of the
ones.
day, they fire up what's called peaker plants. They're power plants that are not being used for 20 hours out of the day. But then come noon, when it's the hottest time of the day and
All
everybody
the air
fires up their air
conditionings,
conditioners and
yeah.
everything, they need more power. And so they fire up peaker plants, coal plants, oil plants, natural gas plants, whatever other type. They fire them, and now we're firing on all cylinders. And right now we're buying that energy at a premium price from the energy company.
Yeah.
You put solar on your house, the solar system on your house, for the most part, will be able to power your house and have a little bit left. That wasn't the case 5 years ago, 10 years ago,
Yeah, I was
but
gonna
it
say,
is
yeah.
now.
I was like, and if you go around and make your house energy efficient, like with smart thermostats and better weather seals and all that, it saves you LED lights.
Yeah, so photovoltaic cells have gotten so efficient now, and the impetus for that was Tesla. It was
Okay.
actually Solar City, the precursor to Tesla Solar. That was the impetus. They got so good, other companies had to step up and get good too. So now your house has become its own small peaker plant.
Peaker plant.
They will
Right.
buy your electricity from you.
For peak time.
Yeah, they'll buy the power from you, sell it to your neighbor for their air conditioner. And so your power bill disappears, but you're still paying for the solar. You're paying payments on the solar, unless you've got 26 grand laying around, and a lot of people do. Not me, but a lot of people do.
Not I.
Yeah. Now, if you were to do that today, fun fact, in North Carolina, with the federal and state rebates and tax credits, you get $11,000 back.
So it
If you
costs
did it
about
today.
11,000 ish or 12,000 ish.
Well, to get it, you'd have a net price of 15 grand on a solar system similar to the one that I priced out. You get that 11 grand back, and my plan was to take that 11 grand, pay it on the solar system, and then the company that I was talking to said, well, at that point, as soon as you send the credit to us, we refinance it automatically, and then your payment comes down. So you end up paying less than your
less.
normal power bill. At that point, you start saving money. So it starts to split hairs and become a little bit more complicated.
Yeah.
But once you wrap your brain around it, initially you're not saving money. You're paying the exact same amount of money, but now
Right.
you're in control. And your concern earlier that you said to me was like, what if everybody gets a Tesla? What if everybody gets an electric vehicle? That's a lot on the power grid.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. I was like, somebody asked me, because I've been talking about getting a Tesla. And I'm like, that's probably be my next car, man. I like it because it's cool. It's cool. It has a lot of features I like.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact it's electric, and I'm like, I want to try it. Hybrid, I'm very satisfied with. Now I want to go the next step.
Yep.
I'm not getting like a 57 Chevy truck, I'm not doing that. I'm going the opposite way. And so they were like, well, what if everybody gets Teslas? Then what's a power grid? Going to be rolling brownouts or blackouts or something, because all these cars are going to start charging on Teslas, and the power grid's shaky as it is. And then you came back with,
So the
peak times and stuff.
you would be charging your EVs at night.
Right.
Most people would be. You'd have some people who, of course, are third shift workers and night shift, law enforcement, and first responders, and that would end up having to charge during the day, which sucks. But you charge during the night. You charge at off peak times. You don't go to the superchargers in the middle of the day as your normal charging routine, and so you're already charging at off peak times.
Right.
And so that solves the idea of the rolling brownout thing. Plus, Tesla specifically, I can speak on that they solved a lot of efficiency problems. Not only the vehicle in motion is more efficient, but the battery pack itself, the battery structure itself, the battery design itself, the battery materials themselves. There's a concept that long ago they didn't even have a word for, but now they call it vampire drain, where energy is leaching out of the battery for one reason or another. Either it's because you have features on the car that are on that you don't realize are on that are
Right.
it's taking power from the battery,
Right.
or the battery structure itself. It's leaching electrons and it's just losing electricity for no reason. That was a problem in early EVs. The GM EV1, you couldn't even consider it. There was a time at which it was estimated that by plugging in an EV into a car, into your outlet to charge it, you were drawing an equal amount of energy as if you were doubling your household draw on the power grid.
So you plug in your EV vehicle, and like say, no, your meter outside your house is just
It
spinning
just doubles.
twice as fast.
Yeah. And that's simply not the case anymore. It just simply is not the case anymore. But as we're alluded to throughout the whole episode here, is that the solution is for you to get solar on your house. Again, 5 years ago, definitely 10 years ago, it would not have been possible. Just the tech wasn't there, but the tech is there now. So you can solve the whole problem for yourself and your family, and essentially solve it for your neighbor too. Mm-hmm. Because when you put it on your house, especially like a place like my place where I get direct sun all day long,
yeah.
I could probably balance out my own house, the neighbor, and the neighbor on the other side of me too.
Right,
so
right.
you're helping not just yourself, you're helping the entire power grid. So that your neighbor on either side of you should be thanking you for putting solar on your house. And so that'll solve that completely solves the issue of how do you charge your own Tesla if everybody gets one. So you can only take care of you, and if in your efforts of taking care of you, you're also helping the people on either side of you, which I'm making that comment. I don't mean physically them to benefit. I mean you're helping another family.
The grid.
You're helping the grid to the tune of at least one other family can benefit from what you're doing, which is very important. I was building to a point and it left me for that.
I think because you explained to me earlier, I think is the point where you can program your Tesla to only charge during non-peak hours.
Yeah, so
right?
you get home at 6 p.m., 7 p.m.,
plug
it in, but you can in your Tesla app you can set it so that don't start charging until such and such time.
Right.
Because that's my off-peak hours. That's when I get my cheapest electricity, and so the financial cost to you if you're still on the grid is very minimal. And the drain on the grid is also very, very minimal. Oh, that's the point I was building to. It's a second point. So you can solve the problem for you with the solar, but it's highly unlikely that everyone's going to go and get an EV of any kind. Not in the near future.
Yeah.
Because just like there are a lot of, like Elon Musk has, 50 million followers on social media. Right. There's a lot of vehement supporters of EVs and of Tesla specifically. But there's equal or more in the number of people who absolutely hate EVs and hate Tesla and hate Elon Musk and won't buy an electric vehicle no matter what. And we talked about certain celebrities who've publicly said, no, I want to step on the gas and I want to hear that engine roar to life. I want to hear that sound. I want to feel the, I want to feel that. There's so many people who do that. There's a channel called Wham Bam Tesla Cam. So Teslas, when you're driving, the cameras around it are always filming. Yeah. And so if there's an event, you can hit a button and it captures that event onto a USB stick that is included with the car. And people upload that video to YouTube. They submit it to Wham Bam Tesla Cam. It's this big YouTube channel. And there's so many videos of almost always guys in these big diesel trucks that try cold rolling Teslas. They pull up to them at stoplights and road rage and scream at them, all just because they own that vehicle.
That's so silly.
There was one guy. I mean, this guy was berating him, cussed him up one side and down the other at the red light, just leaning out of his truck window, screaming at him, calling him all kinds of horrible names.
It's just pointless.
Only because he's driving an electric vehicle. Talking to him, basically questioning his manhood. You're not a real man because you drive that battery operated toy. And so that guy in that truck will never buy a Tesla. He's never going to buy an electric vehicle. You're not going to catch him in a Nissan Leaf. He's not going to be in a Chevy Bolt. It's not going to happen. It's just not.
Yeah.
Even the Audi e-tron GT, which is a phenomenal electric vehicle and looks sporty, it's fast, it looks aggressive, that guy's not going to buy that car. He wants his diesel. He wants it to belch and bark all kinds of noises and smoke up into the air. He wants to. That's his thing. And that's fine that it's this thing.
If it's what turns you on, it's what turns you on.
If that's what he wants, that's what he wants. I've made the point to my son all the time. He's like, they talk about climate change and this and that, and there are differing opinions on climate change. I have my opinion on climate change. You have your opinion on climate change. People say, the science is in, climate change is real. The science is not in. That's not a verifiable fact. And we can go on a whole other whole other episode.
Politics and climate change. Let's move on back to gas prices.
Yeah, so That's the point that I'm making. The science
yeah.
is not in. That's a debatable fact. What is not a debatable fact, it is a fact. Pollution is bad.
Oh, yeah.
Point blank and period. What comes out of your tailpipe will kill you. And we've been belching it out into the air for decades. So if that floats your boat, having that diesel truck and then messing with the engine so that it barks all those black clouds into the air, if that's your thing, that's your thing.
Hey.
That's fine. That's your hobby. That's great. Your hobby is harming other people. Your hobby is definitely harming you. Harming you, harming other people, it's harming the environment.
Yeah.
So if you have that level of animosity and anger towards somebody only because they've chosen not to harm the environment in that way, that's a fundamental wiring issue in your brain.
Well, young, it is mostly young men. You know how that piss and vinegar, man. It's just a change. I don't like change.
You were talking to Alabama Burns.
I even do that accent because it's the same. It's the same dude. You know what I mean? It is. Hey, you stupid EV vehicle, dude. I hate it. Oh my God. It's not that guy.
It's not that guy. It's really not.
So,
and it's funny you say that because like the specific video I'm referencing where the Asian guy was driving a Tesla and he was filming the guy that was screaming at him, it was that voice. It was that exact voice.
which one? Like, dude, I don't like that.
No, the other one.
Man,
I'm just saying.
Boom hour.
I'm quoting these are the facts. These are the facts, okay?
Hey, you can't dispute facts. What it is, what it is. I
You really
guarantee
can't.
you. Go to Myrtle Beach. You'll see what I'm saying.
I haven't been to Myrtle Beach in 20 years.
Well, it's a lot of that. Black smoke.
Yeah.
The Carolina squat, and it's the same dude in every one of those.
Is that called the Carolina squat?
Yeah.
The truck thing? Is
Yeah.
that just here?
South Carolina, North Carolina, I've seen it. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, but then they're blocking the they'll park in the supercharger spots just to be butts, man.
But so in the end, unless you have the cash money to plunk down and pay cash for the Tesla and pay cash for the solar, it's not a matter of saving money initially. What you are doing is redirecting money.
Yeah.
And you're redirecting money in a direction that will save you money in the near term. So right away, you have to make the car payment or the payment on the solar.
Right.
But there are verifiable savings. When you talk about oil changes, you talk about maintenance on an ICE vehicle. You talk about all the things that can go wrong in an ICE vehicle. This simply can't go wrong in an electric vehicle.
Yeah.
I mean, Tesla's the drivetrain on a Tesla has 2 or 3 moving parts depending on which model and who you ask. It's either 2 or 3 total moving parts in the drivetrain of a Tesla vehicle.
So it's less to break down.
Yeah, compared with hundreds and multiple thousands of moving parts depending on which ICE vehicle you're looking at. That's a lot of stuff that could possibly break, and it just, you talk about a gasoline vehicle, and they're like, oh yeah, it's over 100,000 miles. It's just about dead.
Well, yeah, I mean,
a 200,000, put it in the graveyard.
Well, my old Roo out there, my old Subaru I drive to work sometimes, it's 198,000 miles. That's only because my father-in-law is so detailed about maintenance on that thing.
Well, he's a mechanic.
He's constantly maintaining it.
Yeah.
And
to keep it going.
Yeah, and I'm like, at some point, it's like just go into that silent night. Subaru. But right now, I'm glad it's still here.
Good night.
Yeah, I'm so glad it's still rocking and rolling.
But I mean, there's Teslas out there with 600, 700, 900,000 miles on it, still going strong.
Yeah,
and that's astounding to me. It's so astounding that people called you a liar when you said that.
Yes.
But
no, that's not.
That's not true.
Not true.
Yes, it is.
Tip, type, Google.com. Oh, look at here. Oh, you're right. 900,000 miles. You're right. It's not one out there like that. They had to change the engine out at 600,000.
It's 600,000.
And they've gotten 300,000 since then. You're right.
Yeah. Even if it died, if it just kicked the bucket at 600,000 miles, even if you knew it ahead of time, listen, I know you're buying this vehicle, but we want you to know that it self-destructs at 600,000. You would still be like, hell yeah. That's
600,000 miles.
Come on. That's a lot. That's lifetime, man. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a good point to wrap up. We're at 30 minutes.
Let's do it.
Thank you, Barbarian, for all the Tesla talk.
You know me.
Yeah.
I'll talk about Tesla all the time. That's why I had to start the channel, is because family and friends were sick of hearing me talk about Tesla all the time. Self-proclaimed Tesla fanboy. I don't even pretend that I'm fair-minded about it, because I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, you've been into this since, last 5 years. You've been talking about it, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
It's a compelling company.
Gas
They
is
have
only
compelling
like 2
products.
cents a gallon, dude. Chill out.
It was a harder sell when gas was $1.89 a gallon.
Yeah, I was like, whatever.
But now it's something that comes to the forefront of the brain.
Yeah. I seriously just want one because all the features it has, and I like gadgets and I like tech, so I want to try a Tesla.
That's the car for you, then. Man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, any last parting words for our guests?
Yeah, keep an eye out for delivery day video, because I just got that text message from Tesla saying that mine's on the way, and delivery day will be in the next week.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yep.
Later.